Research. Today we're going to be talking about knowing the power that God gives us to be able to rule upon this earth as we need to as Christians. I'm going to be using Matthew chapter 28 and verse 18, where Jesus said this famous words, "And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth." And then he goes on to say, "Go and make disciples of the nations." Now, a lot of people take that and they say, well, that just simply means going and knocking on a door on Tuesday night. Or the Jehovah's Witnesses will say that means just getting everybody out, knocking on a door, and getting everyone to go through a certain creed and to give a mental assent to it. I'm going to go beyond that. I think there's more to it than that, because I'm going to compare Matthew 28:18, which says, "And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth." And I'm going to look at that, what that word power means, and I'm going to compare it to Ephesians 1:18 and 19. So let's look over at Ephesians chapter 1 or verse 18 and 19. These are the same words, the same idea. So we see over here, "And Jesus came and spake," that's 28:18 of Matthew, "unto them, saying, All power is given unto me in heaven and earth." Now let's go down to Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 18 and 19. He's praying and he says, "That the eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that ye may know what is the hope of his calling, and what the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints, and what is the exceeding greatness of his power to usward who believe." And so let's first of all see that this power came to Christ after he died, rose again physically, and he ascended up unto the Father to have the kingdoms of the world given unto him. So when Jesus on the Mount of Ascension went up into the cloud, that fulfilled Daniel chapter 7 and verse number 9. And it says in Daniel 7:9, "I beheld till the thrones were cast down." What thrones? Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and old pagan Rome. That's the only ones in the context. "I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as a burning fire." This, of course, we know is Jesus Christ. Daniel was prophesying of a time whenever he would go up into the clouds and come before the Father, and the Father would give him the kingdoms of this world to slowly take over, and it would take a number of years, as the Bible said, but he would begin advancing his kingdom. So he said, "I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days, which is Christ, did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and a fiery stream issued forth," in verse 10, "coming forth, and before him thousands and thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened." Let's look on down to verse number 13 now. It says in verse 13, "I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven." This was Christ on the Mount of Ascension, where the Bible says that he went up to the Father and came to the Ancient of Days. This wasn't Christ coming on clouds to the people in the world. This was Christ ascending up into the cloud on the mountain after he had died, after he had conquered death, after he had sealed the fate of his enemies, the unbelieving Jewish nation of Israel. And it says here that they was brought near before him in Daniel 7:14, "And there was given him dominion." Now listen, because this will be found in the book of Ephesians. "There was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed." We look on down a little bit further, go down to verse 16. "I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever." And these four beasts that we saw, again, were old ancient Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and then Rome. And that's all it was talking about. And it said that when these passed away, and they did begin to pass away in the first century, the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Now, I believe that there was a kingdom established in the first century. over the years, that kingdom has still advanced and advanced all over the world. I am part of that kingdom. If you are a true saint of God and a true believer in Jesus Christ, you are part of that kingdom as well. But it all was initiated in the first century. You go down to verse number 21, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. And we know that Antiochus Epiphanes was a type of what eventually we would see in one of the most horrendous, horrible leaders of all time, Nero, Caesar, who for 3.5 years persecuted the Christians. And there was a tremendous persecution that went down upon the Christians from Nero, who, by the way, was working with the Sanhedrin Council through the Jews, through the Herodians, who had contact with Nero. And so he did tremendous persecution upon the Christians. And then the Ancient of Days, which is Christ, came. And here we go again, was he coming up into the cloud. And the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints. Now, this word judgment is very fascinating. Judgment. It says here that judgment shall be given unto the saints, which is a technical word for someone who sits in judgment in a courtroom, or someone who sits in a king's palace to pass judgment upon evildoers, or to pass judgment to give a blessing to someone. It is the idea of ruling. The same word that's used for that Hebrew word of judgment in the Old Testament is used in the New Testament as witness. And that goes back to, we go look at Acts 1 and verse number 8, but ye shall receive power, after that the Holy Ghost is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses. Now let's look at this word witnesses here. In the Greek, it's martys, and it literally means someone who would be willing to give their life in a court of law, someone who is a witness for the law that was in the court. So today in courts, we would say someone who's called off the street, who saw something, we call them a witness. In the Greek time, the judge who sat over the people that were being condemned, the prosecution and all of this, and the defendants, the judge who sat over them, he was called the witness, but he would witness to whatever the law of the land was. He would be willing to give his life, and he knew his life would be taken from him if he did not judge righteously. So the word martus is the same as in the Hebrew, comparatively, meaning that the saints shall be given judgment. Here it's ye shall be witnesses. So let me read the definition of martus. It's the Greek word 3144 in Strong's of Uncertain Affinity. It says a witness, literally judicially. Like I said today, a lot of people say, well, being a witness is going out, on Tuesday night, and you knock on the doors. You have the Jehovah's Witnesses come, and you have the Mormons, and then other denominations, religions will knock on your door, and they'll say, we are out witnessing. But a real witness is someone who sits in judgment in a court of law. It says that you shall be witnesses of me, meaning you'll be witnesses of my new covenant, which is the groundwork for the kingdom. And he said of an uncertain affinity, he goes on, judicial, or figuratively, generally by analogy, a martyr, a record, or someone who records, meaning, again, judiciously in court, and someone who is a witness, meaning a witness to the law, a witness to the truth. So we go all the way back now to Daniel chapter 7:22, go all the way back in the Old Testament, in the middle of the Bible. In Daniel chapter 7 and verse 22, until the Ancient of Days came, that was Christ, when he ascended up into the cloud before the Father, and judgment was given to the saints. This word judgment means they became witnesses. Judgment was given to the saints and of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. What kingdom? The old pagan Roman Empire. This all happened, Christ ascending up to the Father at the Mount of Ascension, the Father destroying the 4 great kingdoms of the old order, and establishing Christendom. All happened in the first century. A lot of churches don't teach that, but I don't care. Just keep following the time statements. Put the puzzle together, piece by piece, in the Bible the right way. Daniel 7:27, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all the dominions shall serve and obey him. So this is very important. The kingdom would be given to the saints. The kingdom would be given to those that follow the Christ. The kingdom would be given to the Christians, and it was. What kingdom? Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and then old pagan Rome.
Onward, Christians, onward go. Fight the fight into the night, strengthened by the bread of life, strengthened by the bread of life. Onward, Christians, onward go. Join the war and face that foe. Do not faint, much yet remains. Dreary is that long campaign. Dreary is that long campaign. Shrink not, Christians, will you yield? Or will you quit the painful field? Or will you flee in danger's hour? Know ye not your captain's power? Know ye not your captain's power? So let your drooping hearts be glad. March in heavenly armor clad. Fight, don't think the battle long. Victory soon shall tune your song. Victory soon shall be your song. Let not sorrow dim your eyes. Soon shall every tear be dry. And let not woe your course impede. Great your strength is, great your need. Great your strength is, great your need. Onward into battle move. More than conqueror shall you prove. Though opposed by many a foe, Christian soldiers onward go. Christian soldiers onward go. Onward, Christian.